We're watching the skies right now as a few severe thunderstorms are possible in southern Wisconsin tonight.
And a Beloit High School student is accused of sexually assaulting 3 girls during a school trip to Florida.
Plus, a man is sentenced today for multiple sexual assaults near the UW-Madison campus.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
And thanks for joining us tonight. We have our first real chance of severe weather of the season.
Gary's been tracking this storm for us all day and joins us now with an update.
Well, Charlotte and Eric, you know, things are kind of progressing the way that we thought they would yesterday. If you take a look at the temperature map, look at the difference in temperatures. 71 in Dubuque, Iowa, 46 in Green Bay, and 49 in Milwaukee, and Madison right about at that center point there. So this is where the thunderstorms will start intensifying. And as we take a look at visible cloud track, you can see there have been some breaks in the clouds as this morning's thunderstorms move to the north, and then more storms developing in a line now out across Iowa. That's with the cold front that's moving eastward. You can pretty much see that line of storms there pushing across eastern Iowa. Right now we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for parts of eastern Iowa. Some of these warnings in effect until about 6:15 and 6:45. Those storms are tracking off toward the northeast. One strong storm is located in the eastern portion of Crawford County right now, producing perhaps some very small hail, moving northeast at about 39 miles per hour, but that storm will be tracking in the northern portion of Richland County. Now, if we take a look at future radar over the next 3 hours, you can see how that line of storms becomes a little less organized as it starts to move into the hours of beyond sunset, where the atmosphere starts to stabilize a little bit, but still a line of thunderstorms is expected to move through southern Wisconsin. Storm Prediction Center is monitoring areas west of Madison for a possible tornado watch. Otherwise, temperatures, like I say, range from the 40s in the northern parts of our viewing area to around 70 near the Illinois state line. Those winds out of the south, just north of the Illinois state line, but they shift to the east, north of Madison. That's where the cooler air is. Right now, not seeing very strong wind gusts, but those will increase in intensity later on tonight. Showers and thunderstorms likely this evening. That's when the best threat for severe weather will be. Temperatures will drop to the upper 40s by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow will be a breezy and cooler day with a chance for a few showers. High temperature at 52. I'll have more details on the severe weather threat in just a few minutes.
Gary, thank you. Parents are demanding answers from the school district of Beloit after claims that several students were sexually assaulted on a school-sponsored field trip. Now the district says it won't have a response today. Adam Duxter caught up with the family of one of the victims and joins us from our Rock County Bureau with their story. Adam?
Well, Eric, earlier today I spoke to a parent who says her daughter is just one of the students sexually assaulted allegedly on a band trip when a group of students from Beloit Memorial visited Florida. And today she says she's concerned about the lack of things that have been done since then. The allegations are tough to hear.
My daughter was on a school-sponsored field trip and she was sexually assaulted.
Of what one Beloit Memorial mom says happened to her daughter on a school trip to Florida, where students from the band program took a coach bus from Wisconsin to Orlando. That's where she says her daughter called home one night detailing what a male classmate did to her.
I was terrified for her because she was, you know, more than 1,000 miles away, and I felt helpless. And I just wish that I could have been there with her, and I wasn't.
A police report filed with the Orange County Sheriff's Office in Florida provides the details, saying that one male student allegedly inappropriately touched female classmates over the course of several days, and details several incidents of unwanted contact.
This is, you know, sexual assault. And that's not getting into a fight. That's not disrespecting a teacher. That is violating another human being, and in a way that will affect them for the rest of their lives.
The Beloit Daily News reported that the Orange County Sheriff's Office told them they made contact with the Beloit Police Department, saying the incidents didn't happen in their jurisdiction. Beloit police say they've received no report and were never a part of an investigation, as the incidents would also not be in their jurisdiction.
Responsibility shouldn't be placed on the parents to figure out who's going to take lead in this and make sure that justice is served. I want to know why nobody seems to want to take responsibility for the lack of action.
Again, this story is continually developing, and we'll continue to provide updates as it does continue to develop. The mother of the alleged victim I spoke with today says she just wants to make sure nothing like this happens to anyone else.
Adam Duxter in Rock County Night. Adam, thank you.
A Monona man will spend the next 22.5 years in prison for a string of violent crime on UW-Madison's campus. Our Keely Arthur was at the sentencing today and joins us with what happened inside the courtroom. Keely.
The sentencing took about 2.5 hours here at the Dane County Courthouse. During that time, Coleman Chung and one of his survivors gave very emotional testimonies.
He did his best to try and take away my life. I am grateful that he did not succeed.
A survivor of Coleman Chung's violent attacks courageously speaking in court today. She, just 17 at the time, is one of 3 women Chung assaulted on UW's campus in the fall of 2017. On September 29th, Coleman violated her while she was passed out at Gordon Commons. The next day, he put another woman in a chokehold and attempted to rob her. And then on October 2nd, he tried putting a woman in his trunk and then hit her with a hatchet when she resisted. The survivor, speaking today, outraged at the 22.5-year prison sentence.
When I was told by my attorney that Mr. Chung's plea agreement was 22 years, I was really disappointed. I assumed that 22 years was applied to just my assault. When she clarified that it was for all 3 assaults, I was in disbelief. I do not believe that this is a fair sentence. He has no conscience.
Chung spoke as well, seeming aware of the pain he had caused.
I hurt you badly. You did nothing to deserve the pain and trauma I inflicted. I am sorry. I have lived most of my life anxiety-ridden and isolated. This is not a fate I would wish on my worst enemy, let alone you, who have done me no wrong.
He will spend his foreseeable future locked away. The survivor says she'll spend hers protecting other women.
I want to study to be a lawyer. I want to be able to put people like Mr. Chung in jail someday for what he did to me.
After being released, Coleman Chung will have to spend 15 years in extended supervision. He is ordered to not speak to any of the victims or any minors. He was previously convicted of possession of child pornography. Back to you.
Keely, thank you.
The 24-year-old man is in critical condition after falling from the 4th floor of a construction site in Madison. It happened about 8:15 this morning at a site on De Loretto Avenue. That's off Portage Road on the far east side. Police say they arrived to find the worker barely breathing, multiple injuries, including a head wound. An officer used a towel to apply pressure and performed life-saving measures until paramedics arrived. There were no witnesses to describe how the man fell. OSHA is now assisting Madison police with the investigation. Police say a man shot in the hand early this morning in Janesville lied to them. Officers were called to the 400 block of North Terrace overnight. That man told them he struggled with someone who had pulled out a weapon and tried to rob him. Police say investigators determined the injured man gave false information and the shooting actually happened inside his home. Anyone with information about this case is asked to call Janesville police.
The Iowa County District Attorney died suddenly in Dodgeville yesterday. The DA's office issued a statement today saying Larry Nelson suffered a pulmonary embolism while at his office. He is a graduate of UW-Madison Law School and served Iowa County for 17 years. He was appointed as district attorney by Governor Doyle in 2006. His office released this statement in part saying DA Nelson was well-liked and respected by his staff and colleagues alike, and he exhibited integrity beyond reproach, adding he will be missed. Additional information about funeral arrangements will be provided in the future by Nelson's family.
Governor Tony Evers says the state is looking to rework the deal with Foxconn since he says the scope of the project has been reduced. Now, the deal calls for the state to provide the Taiwanese tech company $3 billion in incentives over 15 years. Now, if the company meets certain goals, that is, of 13,000 jobs and $10 billion in capital investments in its southeastern Wisconsin facility, the governor calls the jobs goal now unrealistic.
So 13,000 people as Foxconn employees is probably difficult to imagine for me right now, but I suppose it could take in a different direction.
Republicans are responding. Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald saying, quote, if the state is willing to renege on its commitment to Foxconn and open up a contract without agreement by both parties, then what guarantee can Wisconsin make to any other company that wants to expand here?
Wisconsin's popular prescription drug program for senior citizens has been granted approval to continue operating for another 10 years. Senior care is available to anyone 65 years old and older. About 50,000 people are on this program. It costs $30 a year, but makes prescription drugs available for between $5 and $15 with no gaps in coverage. Patients with chronic conditions are hoping a new proposal will help them get the medications they need with fewer hurdles to jump through. Lawmakers held a joint public hearing today on a bill that would reform step therapy. It's the practice where a doctor prescribes a medication and an insurance company wants the patient to instead try a different option, a cheaper drug first. Some patients say this has led them to use the wrong meds for months or even longer. Under the bill, a patient could ask for an exception to the step therapy protocol. Insurance companies would be forced to grant or deny the request within 3 days or 1 day during emergencies.
And people could see delays tomorrow if they drive through Janesville. Work is being done on the westbound lane of US 14 at Humes Road. That's near the interstate. The construction is expected to last pretty much all day, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. as crews fix a storm sewer in that area.
A silent space where thoughts and stories are shared.
These clothes hope to empower the victims of sexual assault. Next at 6. UW-Platteville-Baraboo Sauk County is tackling the issue of sexual assault with art.
The installation opened on Monday in recognition of Sexual Assault Month, and the discussion it's starting is challenging. Chris Lewinberg reports.
While the rest of UW-Platteville-Baraboo Sauk County bustles as normal, room 217 has been a silent space this week.
Yeah, I heard a lot about it.
Home to a subject that's too often talked about in hushed voices.
It's really eye-opening.
Clothes are draped on the walls like ghosts, recreated outfits of what people were wearing when they were sexually assaulted.
When you go through, you kind of expect it to be like shorts and like a crop top, but all of these clothes are just regular, like pajamas or sweats or a prom dress.
This impactful installation called What Were You Wearing is built to tackle an ages-old stigma.
That it doesn't matter what somebody was wearing when something like this happened. The person that's going to perpetrate is going to perpetrate regardless of what you were wearing.
Stories of survivors accompany each outfit.
I might have been wearing something that, I wouldn't wear to church, but that doesn't mean that I deserve that, and that means that I still have the right to come forward and be believed.
University administrators say that though it's silent in this room, the lesson the installation teaches speaks for itself.
Really, prevention and education. We want to make sure that they are smart, that they're thinking proactively, The whole idea of it doesn't matter what you are wearing and it doesn't matter who you are.
Though it can be hard for survivors to find their voice, the community is ready to speak up.
Maybe they'll just realize that what were you wearing is not the first question you should ask.
I'm Chris Lewinberg, News 3 Now.
If you have ever experienced sexual assault, the Hope House of South Central Wisconsin has a 24-hour confidential helpline and other resources available.
We could see hail, some strong winds, and a good amount of rain tonight.
Gary's tracking our severe weather possibilities next at 6. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canaldi joins us with a look at our forecast.
Yeah, things have been fairly quiet over the last few hours. It's been cloudy. Temperatures have really been warming up south of Madison, and that temperature contrast might fuel some severe thunderstorms at some point this evening. Now, as we take a look at visible cloud track, you can see the showers and thunderstorms from this morning lifting to the north. There have been some breaks in the clouds, but generally it's been pretty cloudy around here. And then to the west, you can see this line of thunderstorms developing across Iowa. This is actually the cold front, which is moving eastward, and that's the area that we're watching out for the potential for some severe weather. Now, as we take a look at Doppler track, you can see this line of thunderstorms moving in from the west. A little closer view, it looks like there are some severe weather warnings out there in Iowa. This is the eastern portion of Iowa. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning just to the west of Cedar Rapids there until 6:45 p.m. These storms, as they move toward the northeast, will eventually move into southwestern Wisconsin. We're also seeing a pretty good line of thunderstorms just west of the Mississippi River, moving into the far, or eventually moving into west central Wisconsin and right around Prairie du Chien. And you can see those storms as they track off toward the northeast. Some of those storms could be producing some hail. Now, as we look at future radar, you can see this line of thunderstorms perhaps breaking up a little bit. There'll be some individual thunderstorm cells, and those are the ones that bring the potential for severe weather, but it may not be as widespread as more typical outbreaks that we have later on in the spring. Severe weather outlook, according to the Storm Prediction Center, there's a slight risk of severe thunderstorms from Madison on toward the south and west. Tornado threat, actually a little bit higher over southwestern Wisconsin into eastern Iowa. This is about a 5% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of a point. Hail threat, about a 15% chance, again, south and west of Madison, then 25 miles of a point. But the threat for straight line winds a little bit higher across parts of east central Illinois as that line of storms develops later on tonight. As far as rainfall amounts are concerned, we could be looking at about a quarter to a half inch of rain as these storms move. They're moving pretty quickly, so that will limit the heavy rain potential. Farther to the north and east, there could be some heavier amounts there. Otherwise, we take a look at the live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville. This is looking toward the southwest, a little bit of sunshine on the horizon. The WISC Skycam also looking toward the west, showing mostly cloudy skies. Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison, cloudy there as well, but no rain here in Madison for the time being. As we look at our almanac for today, high 59, low temperature at 46, so pretty close to the normals, but we may see those temperatures continue to rise because we're at 59 degrees right now. Winds are out of the east-southeast at 9 miles per hour, but the southwesterly winds aloft continue to push that warm front a little bit farther to the north as that line of thunderstorms comes in from the west. So here's the cold front I'm talking about, the warm front right through southern Wisconsin. Look at the difference in temperatures. North of the front, 40 right now in Wausau. It's 59 in Madison, 74 in Chicago, and 81 in St. Louis. That's a pretty big temperature contrast, but the cold front will eventually not only bring cooler weather in from the west, but it also cut off the moisture, which right now is producing dew points in the mid-50s to around 60 over eastern Iowa. So on future track, you can see that area of showers and storms moving off to the east. Winds shift around to the northwest by early tomorrow morning, and tomorrow will be a breezy and cooler day with a chance for a few scattered showers. So for tonight, look for showers and thunderstorms this evening. Some of those, or a couple of those, could become severe. Low temperature dropping to 48 as winds eventually become northwesterly toward morning. For tomorrow, look for a cloudy, breezy, and cooler day. High temperature topping out at 52 and just a slight chance for some showers. On future track, the best chances of showers and storms tonight. By tomorrow morning, we're down to 48 degrees with just cloudy skies, and that'll linger through much of the day tomorrow with highs in the lower 50s. Tomorrow night, skies start to clear out toward morning. That'll drop temperatures into the upper 30s. Friday, even though we'll have northerly winds, temperatures will actually be a couple degrees warmer than tomorrow because we'll see sunshine, high temperatures upper 50s to around 60. And again, rainfall amounts probably about a quarter to a half inch, but heavier amounts in a heavier thunderstorm. As we look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, though, notice those temperatures going back up for the Easter holiday weekend. Slight chance for an afternoon thunderstorm on Easter, and then temperatures mainly in the 60s for much of next week.
It's Bucks night, and they hope their balance continues in Game 2 like it did in Game 1. A live report from Milwaukee coming up in sports. Game 2 of the Bucks-Pistons NBA playoff series is tonight in Milwaukee, and the big challenge for the Bucks is to stay focused and take the Pistons seriously after a 121-86 win in Game 1 Sunday. We go live to Fiserv Forum, where Kevin Lewis looks ahead to Game 2 tonight. Hi, Kevin.
Hello, Jay. 5 since the playoffs expanded in 1984. That is the number of 8-1 upsets in the first round of the NBA playoffs. Now, the Bucks didn't appear to be in any danger after Game 1 on Sunday, but the Golden State Warriors, the reigning champs, thought they were okay after taking a 1-0 lead against the Los Angeles Clippers. Then Monday night happened, and the Warriors blew a 31-point lead in that game, the largest in NBA playoff history. So the Bucks know they have to figuratively keep one foot on the Pistons' throat and the other one on the gas.
Stay focused. Got to still play the right way, cannot be sloppy. I think, not to comment as much to, in what the Warriors did, but they were sloppy offensively. They wasn't getting back defensively. I think they were just being a little bit lazy. When you're being lazy, the basketball gods to watch the game, and you're gonna pay for it.
It's more than just the Giannis show. 11 Bucks played, 10 Bucks scored against the Pistons in Game 1. They got 21 combined from Sterling Brown and Pat Connaughton. And if the Bucks want the same results, their supporting cast will have to do exactly the same things tonight in Game 2.
We got a little room, but we still got to keep our foot on their throats. We got to keep pushing and keep going, try to, win as many games as we can without losing.
Make sure that, we build upon Game 1, because I think we played a great first half, and coach at halftime really stressed making sure we weren't content with the first half, that we played our brand of basketball in the second half, and then how can we now do that from the second half of that game to the first half of this game.
The Pistons head coach Dwayne Casey said that forward Blake Griffin will be a game-time decision. He didn't play in Game 1. He participated in the team shoot-around earlier today with a very large brace on his left leg, so we'll see if he can go, and the Pistons can try to make a game out of this one as the Bucks try to go up 2-0 in this best-of-7. Tip-off tonight at 7, Jay. Back to you in Madison.
All right, Kevin, thanks very much. Well, all good things must come to an end, and for the Milwaukee Brewers, their early season dominance of the St. Louis Cardinals ended at Miller Park this afternoon. Corbin Burns can throw a fastball in the mid-90s, but if you throw it hard and straight, major league hitters will crush it. And that's what Marcell Ozuna did with his 95-mile-an-hour straight-as-an-arrow fastball. Chris Carpenter also homered. Cardinals went up 5-0. Here's the big hit of the day for the Brewers. Aaron Wilkerson, he's a pitcher, but he had a 2-run homer to make it interesting, but the Cardinals held on to win and salvaged one game of the 3-game series. Final is 6-3 Cardinals. Christian Yelich drove in the other Brewers run, of course. Brewers now 12-7. Tomorrow night they'll welcome the Los Angeles Dodgers to Miller Park to open a 4-game weekend series. The 2019 NFL regular season schedule comes out tonight at 7. We already know the Packers and Bears open the season at Soldier Field Thursday, September 5th. The rest comes out in a little over half an hour. And Joe Thomas will be the Grand Marshal of this year's Crazy Leg Classic. Thomas played football at Wisconsin in the mid-2000s, All-American in 06, played 11 seasons in the NFL for the Browns. He'll be a first-ballot Hall of Famer when he's eligible in 4 years, and he's the Grand Marshal of the 38th Crazy Legs Classic.
All right, Jay, thanks.
Some storms out to the west of us, severe weather just west of the Mississippi River, so we'll keep an eye on that. Storm Prediction Center monitoring for possible tornado watch as well.
Thanks for joining us.
Have a good evening. We'll see you back here at 10.